ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, take me higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. There we go. I am Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and I'm the co-host. Closing Bell, Friday, March 28th. Yes, the last Friday of March. Yes, April is coming. Tuesday. It will be April as we get ready for one of the best weeks of the year. There'll be the Final Four next weekend. Monday, someone cuts the nets down, and Tuesday, it's the Masters week. So a lot to go over here with my co-host, Mr. Riley Magnuson. But first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download that app. It is free. The best team, the best family in the business. Do yourself a favor. Check them out, download the app, and let's have some fun. Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconuts. AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith on Facebook. Then jump on over to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, wines, appetizer. He's got all the bases covered. He also has 4 subscription plans. Check the box, set it, and forget it. Every 30 days, the best steaks, the best chops, the best seafood delivered to your house. You won't have to do anything other than get another propane tank. So without further ado, Mr. Big Ten himself, Riley Magnuson. What's up, champ?
What is up, my friend? Happy Friday. Ready to roll with a good weekend of sports action, obviously. We had plenty of good stuff last night. And, I mean, as a Chicago sports fan for most of the sports, I'm, having the best yesterday was one of the best days in the Chicagoland. And I don't know how long on a non-playoff day whatsoever, and all 3 teams in action win. Bulls, obviously, I mentioned, not upsetting the Cavs or the Celtics in the playoffs by any means, but man, they're playing fantastic, and one of the craziest finishes of a basketball game you'll see in any type of level. So, enjoying the little ones. The worst team in the history of baseball starts off 1-0. So, I gotta embrace what I can embrace, my friend.
Yeah, the Bulls game, the last 16 seconds, 3-pointer steal, 3-pointer. Lakers come down, take the lead, and then Josh Giddey says, "Hold my beer," and hits it from half court. Thanks for playing there. Your White Sox, for all the under bettors, cringing, sent out, a team again that the Anaheim Angels here, we've talked for a decade, it seems. Mike Trout lost in the abyss. And when they signed Bryce Harper, the deal was, well, we're not done. We're going to get Mike Trout back home to Philadelphia. That never happened. Let me see. Albert Pujols came in. He left the building. Shohei Ohtani came in. He's left the building.
Rendon didn't want to play baseball, but they paid him a lot of money.
He just stealing checks. The real turn to their whole downfall as well is when they hired John Madden, and the deal was a package deal. They were going to bring Garrett Cole in, and he was going to be their ace and their focal point. Cole came in and told them what he wanted. Angels offered him a contract, took that contract, flew across the country to New York, says, here's what they offered, here's what I want, and the rest is history there. As you said, UFC this weekend, PGA. Scotty Scheffler says, all right, guys, enough's enough. I'm back. And last time I checked was just in Fuego. Let me get the latest off of the app here. Scotty Scheffler right now. Finishes the day in the lead, -11, only -8 for the day, Riley.
Sheesh. This one, this was one of the ones. I mean, you had him and Rory, obviously, far and away the favorites in this one because, after those two, the list of names drops off a little bit. Obviously, some good players, but was wondering if this was a good weekend to think about Scotty going into this one here, and obviously you've been calling it as far as gearing him up for Augusta, which we've got here in a couple of weeks. So it appears that I don't know if he's going to be full-fledged Scotty Scheffler. Putting up borderline Tiger Woods numbers like he was last year, but obviously, if he's playing well, he's going to have a chance at any tournament, and obviously Augusta is one we're talking about here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I think the thought process is simple. There's a tournament next week, and then the Masters. Mm-hmm. For anyone that doesn't understand, there's horses for courses, and the Masters is a course where there's a handful of holes that you need to score on, and then the majority of them is get your par and get out of Dodge. And that's why it's hard for a first timer there, or even second or third timer. It takes years to figure out this course, where to put the ball, where not to put the ball. And a couple of years back, we were on Cam Smith, and Cam on Sunday was right there with Scotty, and he came back to tie him. And then I think it was like on 11 or 12, they both were on the fringe. They both duffed their shots, and they both were hitting again. And Scheffler, I think, holed it from there, and the rest was history. Last year, Scheffler, Oberg, and Morikawa all tied on Sunday at 11. And then Oberg and Morikawa put it in the water, and the rest is history there. There's a handful of guys. Shout out to Billy Hewlin. He is alive. Billy, what's up, man? You are missed. Hug the bride for me. Great job by the Tide last night. Made 25 3-pointers, score 113 points. Hey, Billy, you're going to need about 90 of those to beat Duke on Saturday. But God bless you. We'll get to that. So glad that you chimed in. Make sure you tell Rebecca she is missed as well. Getting back to the Masters, though. So 79 tee off, 60 make the cut, and there's really only 30 that can win this tournament. So the live guys come back over, Riley. So you got your Bryson DeChambeau, your John Rahms, Koepka rounding in the form. You add Scotty, you add Rory, Alexander Schauffele rounding into form, Justin Thomas coming off of a win, Oberg, Morikawa, Matsuyama. Go ahead.
The one guy I was going to name that, the differences, we don't need to talk about ratings, but the difference in the ratings between PGA and LIV, nobody's really paid attention to the LIV, but the people who are, Joaquin Niemann is the other guy who is playing like they're trying to campaign for him to be the new number one in the world right now. But I think he just won. Unless I know he won one of their most recent ones, but obviously is playing fantastic. So that's the one guy that I think is going to get a ton of respect in a couple of weeks. But obviously, if you're not paying attention to anything that's going on LIV, you're going to be a little surprised to see Niemann if he does play well.
Absolutely, and he is one. I'm a big iron guy, and when we talk irons, of course, we talk Victor Hovland, we talk Morikawa, and Neiman, another one that can stripe it with the irons. So super stoked for that. There, of course, UFC this weekend, Mexico City. We had, of course, Mr. Lou Finicaro at Gam Lou on Twitter. Go follow him, does some spots on VSiN and Sports Grid as well. Talked about the high altitude. Talked about the fighters that needed to get into town early to adjust to the high altitude. I think 13 fights, 11 fights with Mexican fighters there. Thoughts on the card? Do you see anything in Mexico City?
Yeah, just trying to switch gears and pull it up here. You got the main one, Brandon Moreno, minus 265, I think it is. Don't need to go too deep into that one. He is still really, really good. Really, the handful of his losses have been, the top of the division title fight. So I do think he is going to take care of business, especially in front of his home fans there, because you got Steve Erceg, who's really, really good and absolutely could be a problem for Moreno. But sometimes Moreno, he's I don't want to say he lets his foot off the gas, but when he's motivated and ready to go, he's obviously very tough to beat. And had the 4-fight saga with Figueiredo. He's still been solid since then. The number 2 fight of the night, the co-main event, Drew Dober, Manuel Torres, is one that I'm interested in. I think a lot of people I'm seeing are on Torres in his home country, kind of the same thing. Drew Dober would be one where I'm wondering if he can adjust. He's 36, I think it is. But someone that's coming off of he's a decorated fighter in the UFC. He's been a really good veteran for a long time, but coming off of 2 losses in his last 2 fights. So always someone that doesn't like to string losses together, and could be coming in with a vengeance tomorrow in Mexico with Drew Dober there. Go ahead.
And I'll add my UFC knowledge and tidbit. Dober, a Denver native, trains in high altitude in Denver. So the Mexico City, he got there early enough. The high altitude will not give him a problem.
Right. Yeah. So you wonder how he's adjust. It's obviously of all people who you think would be fine in that setting, it would be him. So yeah, just someone that I'm always looking for. There's certain guys where. When whether they're later in their career or not, he's obviously 36 and pretty prideful. But coming off of a couple losses, there's certain guys that it's not a bad idea to take a swing on those guys because they're putting everything they got into one of these these fights to get back into a groove, almost treating it like a title fight, even though they may not actually be that close to the title ranks, and I put Drew Dober in that category there. So other than that, there's a lot of big favorites, and some of these other ones that maybe don't have a big favorite are some guys that I haven't had a chance to watch too much. So going to be another good one. It's not I'm as much as there's some big favorites that I think they should take care of business, in front of their home fans. There's probably going to be one upset, so I don't think you can just copy and paste the 6, 7 minus 400, 500 fighters into a parlay for plus money there. I think someone's going to lose. Don't know who it's going to be, but you got some popular names. You got Kelvin Gastelum as a big underdog who obviously hasn't had a ton of success lately. Has been pretty on and off, having a fighting a pretty tough fight in Joe Pfeiffer. So I do think Gastelum's probably not going to get this one done, but you never know with him. He could he's got power, so. That one's always a one to watch and could be funny. I think there's going to be a knockout out of that fight one way or another, I guess is what I'm trying to say between those two guys.
Yeah, and next week back at the Apex in Las Vegas, not many fans, smaller cages. So again, as Lou likes to say, the UFC never sleeps, Riley.
That's right. And it's only going to get better. So like you said, they've got I think they're going to unveil a big schedule for the rest of the summer. Usually like to have a couple big cards. So I think there's some good stuff on the way for UFC.
And as Lou said, let me get it. Emmett versus Murphy, the headliner next Saturday at the Apex in Las Vegas. I'm trying to figure this thing out here. All right, the hell with it. Let's go to last night, March Madness, the Sweet 16. Everyone knows I had Florida. I have Florida to make the Final Four. Florida to cut the Nets down. Had a few other futures that have gone through the wayside. Listen, former Division III women's basketball coach, but I know talent when I see talent. And this Cooper Flag, listen, I think sometimes people like to throw generational around just a tad too much.
I agree.
And just looking, you know what, really, with his knowledge of the game, it's almost like he's one step ahead of every play. But just looking at his body and his shoulder size, and he's just going to get big and bigger when he goes into the NBA. Right now, this second, hands down, Duke is the best team in the country. And I'm taking nothing away from Florida,
Right.
taking nothing away from Alabama, Auburn, or Houston. There could be that dream matchup of Duke and Houston, where again pace will be a big problem there for Houston. Whoever plays Duke, they can play it any style. They can say first one to 90. They can beat you, 70 to 69. And everyone says, well, Jeff, they weren't battle tested. When you're this good, you know what they remind me of right now, Riley, is last year's UConn team that just beat everyone by 20 right now.
Right, and they are getting battle tested now. These last couple of games they had, you know, they're not in the same category as, like you said, Houston, Florida, Auburn, whatever. But Arizona's a solid team. Baylor's not a bad team. You would make the argument that both those teams would have a fantastic shot to be the number 2 team in the ACC. Maybe not Baylor, but Arizona probably could have been the second best team pretty easily in the ACC this year. Because obviously the ACC was down, but we saw them have a little more success. UNC, despite probably not being a team that should have been in the first place, still won a game over, another team in their bracket, talent bracket. So I'm with you. I was kind of in that spot for a minute where I was like, man, I don't think they're battle tested enough, but they're getting some tests to some degree, and they're still handling them pretty damn well. So I'm with you, man. They're an absolute wagon, and they're just so steady. And Cooper Flag just seems unflappable. And the other thing is, we've had a point where you got some stars who are might be deemed softer than what stars were 20 years ago. Cooper Flag does not fit that category. He gets slashed in the eye early round in the tournament. Rolls an ankle a few weeks ago. So the guy's an absolute warrior. So that's the other aspect that I love about him and love watching him right now. It's wild because I've grown up, as I think a lot of people that aren't Duke fans hating Duke, and him, he's just not as hateable or hateable at all for me as some of these past Duke stars that they've had over the last 30 years.
Well, the comical thing, it was between Duke and UConn, and he says, I don't need to deal with that Danny Hurley experience.
Yeah.
Imagine Cooper on UConn this year with McNeely and everyone else here. That would have been fun. Comedy is, I'm in a one and done pool. I think there was 125 people in it. I got through the first weekend. Purdue, I already used. I was expecting them to lose tonight. I used Texas Tech early, and I was honestly hoping, I thought, they would get a run. And I felt real good because of the fact that Arkansas had that game in hand. I was like, all right, we can get Texas Tech out of there. I'm playing to win this thing. And of course, I had in my head Duke playing Florida, but I can't get to that scenario anymore because I have to play either Duke or Florida tomorrow. So I have to make up that mind. But playing to win, I'm taking Michigan State tonight. Do I feel great about it? Chris Beard is a hell of a coach, but I'll take my shot with Izzo. 3.5. Jeff, why aren't you going to, one of the big favorites? Why aren't you going to Auburn? Or why aren't you going to, Houston? Because it's all about strategy. It's survive and advance. If I use Michigan State tonight, I can use Florida tomorrow. Save Duke. I'll have Auburn still alive. So it's like the mad scientist. But the moral of this story, Riley, is we cashed the Cubs team total in the 5th inning last night.
Yep.
And Duke is being Duke. Arizona was just I knew they weren't going to beat them. And I'm watching this Arkansas team up 17, and then Tech goes 7-0 before the half. They're down 9. It was, but they took their shots in the second half, and Arkansas up double digits, less than 10 minutes to go. And truth be told, I fell asleep. And I woke up. I go to the bathroom, and I said, let me check my phone. Duke was Duke. They didn't cover though, of course. And then I was like, I had to wipe my eyes. Texas Tech overtime. What the? And then we had the NCAA insiders on this morning, and Matt Grissom is an Arkansas guy. What the hell happened? 3-pointer trapped in the corner, steal 3-pointer, tie up 3-pointer, overtime. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, one of the games that we've been waiting for as far as the drama is concerned. So, no, I Texas Tech, I think they're a really good team, but I don't think they're going to have much success. It's Florida they're playing next, right? Obviously, so going to be a tough one, but they're not going to be able to come back on Florida like that. But you go through that spot where Arkansas kind of just looks like they're trying to run out the clock and can't buy a bucket themselves, and little by little you get Texas Tech flying back. So. I was not full blown passed out, but I was dozing, so I missed a chunk of it myself and was in and out with you there, my friend. So need a little extra caffeine to make sure I get through tonight's action. That's for sure.
Before we get into tonight's games, yesterday opening day MLB was kind of interesting. If you had Mackenzie Gore on your props, I know everyone in the world had Skeens over 10. Crochet wasn't sharp. Sox, Willie Abreu, 2 homers. Sox win 5-2. My Red Sox there. What'd you see opening day?
Yeah, I caught a little bit. Obviously, was watching my White Sox. Caught a little bit of Brewers Yankees. That one there. Interested to see what we see from the Brewers. You and I were talking about this either this Monday or maybe last week. Great organization, but we'll see if they've got the firepower this year or not. And offensively, obviously, didn't have much yesterday. Orioles putting up a boatload of runs. Interested to see what teams are coming out of the gates hitting well and who's not, obviously. Let's see, what was the other one that I was mentioning? Oh, you mentioned Skeens. Everyone had them. Obviously, he leaves the game 4-1, and you get the Marlins storming back. One of the other projected worst teams in the league storming back, and cost them a decision in that one for Skeens. A lot of interleague games or interconference games, whatnot, to start off the season. But you got some between some good teams or good divisional teams like the Guardians and Royals potentially there. So fun first day, but I mean, a lot of weird weather around the country still too. I mean, I know it's I guess I don't know if the Cubs are playing today, but not in Chicago. That's right. White Sox going to have some weird weather over the weekend here. So I know the first couple of weeks, obviously, got to pay attention to the weather, whether it's going to be 40 degrees or 75 degrees on any given day there.
It's funny. A buddy of mine, this is the first year I haven't had Adley Rushman and 2 homers. Thanks, Adley. But we do have Skubal, Crochet, and Schwellenbach as our aces. But my point is, he goes, man, Tyreek Skubal looked human. And I was like, well, that's the Dodgers home opener off of a World Series championship with already 2 games under your belt. So that this Dodger team, I mean, just you said it and forget it, 3-0 already. Big favorites again tonight. So again, as there weren't many injuries on opening day, you get nervous with the weather, with the first game, who's hurt, who's not hurt. So we did survive there. Kind of sort of a full slate, which we'll eventually get into. I guess maybe you might want to start tonight, this afternoon, in the Final Four. We'll go Final Four, MLB, and then I'll give out some hockey totals, and then we'll wrap it up with the NBA.
Yeah, sounds good. Where are we going next?
Just start with the final, the Sweet 16.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You were talking about Izzo and Michigan State. They're obviously up to 3.5 now, up from 2.5 at some points during this week. I don't know. Was 2.5 the opening number, or was it 3.5 that went down for a minute?
The actual true opening number was 4. There's only one way that could go with the Chris Beard mystique. It did drop to 3.5. It is back to 4 at Caesars. I have a 3.5 minus 5 cents at the bookmaker, which means next move to 3. It's a fascinating game. It really is. Listen, I know a lot of public and sharps are on Ole Miss with the points and expect them to win outright. At this point, let's be realistic here. The teams that are left, I'll say it this way, anyone can win It's 40 minutes. It's survive and advance. And we'll go back to Alabama last night. A perfect storm because BYU likes to shoot the threes. As I said on all my shows yesterday, the team that makes the most threes is going to win this game. And it was clear cut. That was Alabama yesterday.
Yeah.
So would I be shocked if a Dusty May Michigan team went in and beat Auburn today? I would not be shocked. Would I be shocked if Ole Miss? No. Purdue and Houston is the fly in the ointment. Less than 60 miles away, the home of Purdue. And Houston's traveling 1,000 miles. That game will be all about pace. If Purdue is able to score at will, then Houston's going to have to kick up their game. If they put the jaws of life on Purdue, that's going to be a cakewalk. And Kentucky and Tennessee, they know each other inside and out. So 4 fascinating matchups tonight.
Yeah, that Kentucky-Tennessee one I'm fascinated by. It's going to be an interesting pace in that one. And, the old adage is, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and it is true, but I think it does happen more than people realize. I know I was looking at somebody, putting the stats together not that long ago, and it happens more than you realize there. So I am very interested to see how that one goes. I'll be leaning towards Tennessee, but that's more just I think Tennessee is the better team out of that one, but obviously that's the 4.5 seems pretty spot on to me there. So Ole Miss, I'm in a takeover pool, and I've got Ole Miss plus the points there. So for your sake, I'll go with the Michigan State win but not cover, and then I steal Michigan State into the Elite Eight. That's what I'll be rooting for out of that one with us here.
No, that's a perfect scenario there. I was looking at some team totals, trying to figure that board out. In that game currently, Michigan State opened up at 74.5 down to 74. Ole Miss opened at 70 and a hook and still at 70 and a hook. So by the team total status, 74 to 70 or 74 to 71 is where they got it. I think they're spot on. First one to 70 wins this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll lean towards the under, but it could be a close game, and you get a lot of action in the last few minutes out of this one. Do you get the feeling that it could be similar to how Michigan State in their last game handled New Mexico's kind of slow start for them, and then if they are going to win the game, it's from a late second half surge? Is that, or do you think they'll jump on Ole Miss early in this one?
I expect them to jump on them early. I expect Ole Miss to be playing from behind like Texas Tech was the whole time. I really do, because I think if this Ole Miss gets out, Michigan State's not one of those come from behind teams. And and I know you and I sometimes could shoot better from the 3 than some of their Izzo's. That's the one thing. Izzo has never had that true sniper in a while that can just constantly stick to 3. So I like Michigan State from a thought process of playing from ahead like Arkansas was, and Texas Tech chasing the same here, because I'm going to tell you right now, Ole Miss gets out 7-9. I'm not saying it's panic time, but there should be a sense of urgency from the Sparties.
Yep, 100%. And like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if Michigan has something up their sleeve. Dusty May just might be one of the best coaches in the nation that we are going to start realizing here over the next handful of years. And if he wins tonight, I think he's going to start getting that recognition. Auburn, obviously, fantastic, though, and, could win this one by 30. So I'm not trying to play both sides there, but nothing would surprise me out of that game, I guess, is where I'm at with that one.
Team totals 82.5 down to 81.5 and an 82 at some shops. Michigan 73.5, 73-73. I'd say I've been waiting for the real Auburn team to show up. And they lost 4 of the last 5 to end the year. They got through the first weekend. Now they've had, 5 days to sit in there, and to read the clippings. I'm wondering if this is the game where not just offensively, but defensively, and they, because Michigan is one of these front-running teams. You get them cooking with Crisco, they're a bitch. They can play fast-paced. They can keep you away from the rim. So I think, again, like I said with Michigan State, Riley, I think Auburn's really got to flex their muscles here in the first 10, 15 minutes, win the half, and settle the score early in the second half.
Right, because they're not going to panic if they're up. I think they'll be, you can put it in cruise control, and if what Billy's saying in the comments is accurate, I think they'll be a fine team to keep that pace and snuff them out if that is what's going to happen. But yeah, you got to get out early because, like you said, if Michigan's the one that gets out early, then I would say the panic button should be close.
It's funny, Billy, because our good friend Marty Lowe was talking about how well the SEC is doing, and we knew that was the best conference. But I did say this: Duke and Houston will have something to say here, and unfortunately, speaking of Marty Lowe, what is up, Marty? We were just talking about your Roll Tide here. SEC, definitely should get a couple teams into the Final Four. Obviously, a handful into the Elite Eight. It will be interesting how, if Alabama makes 25 3-pointers tomorrow, then they could beat Duke. I said they could because Duke probably can hit 23 3-pointers too. So,
right.
But again, does the SEC cut the nets down? Duke or Houston, one of those two teams is probably going to be standing on Monday. So is it Auburn? Is it Florida
Right.
On the other side? And Marty wants to go, what do y'all think about the Grizzlies firing Taylor Jenkins? Well, that will be right up Riley's sleeve once we get to the NBA, Marty. Kind of surprised and shocked. I heard, weren't they like the 4th seed, Riley?
Yeah, I forgot what their record is. They're well above 500. They might have slipped down to the 5th or 6th seed now. Yeah, 5th tied for 4th with the Lakers, I guess. So 4th and 5th right there. 44-29 though. I think it was losing record since All-Star game. Obviously not playing well right now. I got to imagine there was some player input on this. The guy's been there for 6 years. He's been through some plenty of Ja Morant's one of my favorite players to watch, but off the court, Ja Morant's obviously had some nonsense that he's been a part of the last few years that Jenkins has kind of gotten through. So I have to imagine they kind of had it made up in their minds that they were going to go in a different direction after this year, unless they made a crazy deep run in the playoffs anyways. And with the way they're playing, maybe they're kind of thinking just make a change and then get the team excited and motivated again. That's my best guess. But at the end of the day, it was a bizarre win, especially with 9-10 games left in the season, and they're 44-29.
I think where there's smoke, there's fire. There's something behind the scenes here that will come out at some point. You don't a 4 seed, someone that's been there 6 years, that, as you said, has had to deal with the bullshit of Ja Morant and all the garbage there. You don't just wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to fire the coach. Right. So whether it is personnel in the locker room, whether it is something off the court, but Marty, I would guess that we would see something sooner than later leak out, Riley.
Right. Guy's only 40 years old, too. You got one of the younger coaches in the NBA that's got to have one of the better winning percentages as well there. So, and yeah, it is a bizarre one. You've got, like I said, my Bulls not going to be able to make the top 6, but trying to sneak into the top 8 and have 2 chances at getting into the dance. We're talking about Cooper Flagg, and I've had my 2% chance in my back pocket of Cooper Flagg, and it's going to be a 0% chance before I know it. But elsewhere, as far as the NBA tonight, I don't believe the Grizzlies are playing tonight. Knicks and Bucks, one of the better games of the evening. I'm leaning towards the under on this one, my friend, 217.5. It has come down, so you are missing a better number than you could have gotten for sure there. But kind of screams under to me. These two teams have, for the most part, been playing to the over these last handful of games, each of them. Well above this total here. Giannis is a questionable, a game time decision, so that is still something to watch, obviously, depending on whatever you like on this one. But he could be out, and this game could change drastically, and the Bucks win, and he could be in, and the line moves, and the Bucks lose by 20. So that's always an odd one to watch. Elsewhere than that, some massive spreads. Some of the bigger ones we've seen in a while. Denver minus 18.5 tonight in the late spot against the Jazz. Warriors minus 15.5. So you got a couple of okay games. The Knicks Bucks good game, and then Cavs Pistons is the other other fun one tonight if you are trying to watch the NBA. But for the most part, other than those couple of games, I think it is a good one to focus on your college basketball entertainment tonight, unlike last night where there was a little bit of fireworks going on in the NBA.
Well, I'm gonna laugh my ass off when Mr. Danny Ainge doesn't get the 1 spot; he gets the 2 spot. And listen, second spot you can get the kid from Auburn, Broom.
Yeah.
It's not Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag will sell tickets. Broom's NBA ready, and he's been doing nothing but improve. But Danny has been in this 2-3 year dump the world for Cooper Flag here. So Danny trying to do what he did back east with the Celtics, where he just seemed like he tanked for a while and eventually found the right pieces there. I'm going to give out some team totals in hockey right now. Let me see, guys. There's a few games here. Florida team total over 3.5 at even money or minus 110 against Utah. If you like Carolina against Montreal tonight, their team total over 3.5. You got to spend 30 cents there. Other than that, they don't. If you like the Rangers tonight at the Ducks, team total over 3.5, you can get plus 120 there. MLB, there's a great, there's a decent slate game, day number 2. There is an afternoon game. Scotty Webb's Tampa Bay Rays hosts Colorado Rockies, Mr. Freeland. Tampa Bay opened up minus 200, still minus 200, 8 over minus 15 cents. ECSI VIPs already know where we are. We do have a play on that game. Anyone watching and listen wants to be a part of the ECSI VIPs, 2 things. Go to our website at eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Top right corner, plans and pricing. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Leave the retail price alone for $3 a day, $99 a month. Your own ECSI VIP gym membership. We send all the plays directly to your cell and emails every month. They hit your card for $3 a day or $99. Or even better, we have partnered with Dub Club. If you go to Twitter at EC Sports Invest, on my profile, you'll see a link for Dub Club. Click that. You're going to see a MLB first pitch NHL NBA playoff package. And that is for $60. There's a 10% code right there. Click that. So for $54 or $1.78 a day, you can dip your toes into the ECSI VIP experience there by using our partnership with Dub Club there. Dodgers 3-0. Yamamoto versus Flaherty. They opened up minus 200, now minus 210. If you like blackjack coming back to the Dodgers, you can get them at plus 187. Mets looking to bounce back. Shut out last night, 3-0 to the Astros. McGill versus Brown. Astros opened up minus 135, now minus 109. So money leaking in on the Mets. At now minus 103 there. My Red Sox 1-0, the year of the Red Sox. Houck versus Jack Leiter. Sox opened up minus 120. Public said, hold my beer. Texas now the favorite at minus 106 there. Baltimore and Toronto. Ground Chuck, Charlie Morton. I think he pitched with Tommy Glavine and a few of those other guys against Gosman. Toronto opened at 130, now minus 124. We had the Cubs team total over last night. Tonight, Chicago and Arizona. Tyon versus Kelly. Arizona minus 138. Cubs go to Japan 0-2. They get their first win there, so a little bounce back there. Anything in the MLB, Riley?
Wanted to throw it your way to see if it was a fair line or if you thought there was any fishiness to it. We talked about them from yesterday, Marlins and Pirates with Skeens yesterday. You got Mitch Keller on the mound today, who's a decent pitcher. No Skeens by any means, no ace, but no total slouch. Up against the Marlins team that's many consider one of the expected to be one of the worst teams in the league. Minus 150 on the line. Is that a fair number? I mean, the Pirates. You got Skeens, and obviously, they're pretty heavily favored typically with Skeens or favored with Skeens. still, I think we're projected to be under 500 team, so maybe it's a fair line. Gillespie for the Marlins, haven't seen too much of him. Saw him only 2-3 times last year. In his debut, whatnot, but getting the day 2 start for the Marlins. Fair line or fishy line?
No, I think it's a fair line. Again, the day after Skeens, a blown bullpen game. I respect the 130 now 140, a 7.5 now 8. If you got the ECSI VIP alert, we are in on this game in some way or somehow. The numbers suggest the play that we gave out very comfortably should get there. So I expect a little offense in this game. I expect the Pirates to bounce back. But again, opening day, opening weekend, the teams we don't expect to do well, the White Sox, the Marlins, and they sometimes come out stronger than we expected. That's why that win by the Cubs was so big to stop the bleeding. 0-2. They get that win there. And who's going to finally slow down the Dodgers? Are they just going to run away and hide? So, again, I like where your eyes are there. And a team that a lot of people think young and upcoming, the Oakland A's last night, do what they do best, hit a few homers. Springs versus Castillo. Castillo opened up minus 160. Guess what? Seattle is minus 135. So people are backing the Oakland A's here, and I love their youth. I love their power. I love everything about them. Again, they got one of the best closers in the game with Mason Miller. So it's going to be a fun team to back this year, Riley.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I was going to ask you what your thoughts on Castillo this year. I think not terrible on his ERA numbers, but I think losing record technically as far as his decisions were concerned. Are we in on Castillo or wait and see?
The Red Sox offseason was predicated on Gilbert or Kirby, and then it looked like they had to trade straight up Castillo for Casas. I'll say this. If Seattle gets off to a slow start, if Seattle is not in the playoff race, Castillo will be playing for a contender. A lot of miles on that arm. He's no Gilbert. He's no Kirby. He's an innings eater. He throws strikes. He gives up runs. The problem is if you're a pitcher that gives up runs and play for the Mariners, especially when you're home, there's not a lot of runs usually scored in that park. So you almost got to be spot on. Hey, I can give up 1 or 2, anything over 2. Now we're getting into no man's land, 3, 4, because there's usually not a lot of 5, 6s, and 7s scored in Seattle, Riley.
Right. I think that is a fair prediction that he could be elsewhere in a couple months, I guess 3-4 months time, whatever it is now. So that is all I've got for MLB. Like you said, good slate, but not quite full slates. And I'm sure once we get into it next week, we'll have full slates to talk about here for MLB.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts, nothing too crazy. We talked about just about everything under the sun as far as our wheelhouse here. Still some fun NFL free agency news. You got Stephon Diggs going over to your neck of the woods there, and plenty more to come as far as draft talk coming up in the next month or so. Coming to Green Bay, Wisconsin for the beautiful draft there. So I'll be ready for that. But other than that, nothing too crazy, my friend. Just ready for some good Sweet 16 and Elite Eight action this weekend.
Yeah, the Patriots talk. Tyler Lockett's still out there, and there's another veteran that I'm forgetting. But keep your eyes on George Pickens.
George Cooper is the
yeah. Okay, so Lockett, long in the tooth. I think we gotta pop Douglas, someone similar, and Amari Cooper would be interesting, where you'd have the 2 seasoned veterans, Diggs and Cooper, and you'd have them in the locker room. It would help May and basically help the kids moving forward there. Again, George Pickens, keep an eye on him. I don't think once Rodgers signs in Pittsburgh that they're going to wheel out both Metcalf and Pickens, and they tried to move Pickens in the offseason or during the season even last year, but they didn't. So keep an eye on Pickens to the Patriots there. For me, fun weekend, Elite Eight, and Final Four soon, getting closer to the Masters. First weekend, Red Sox in Texas. Then I think they travel to Baltimore, come back home in April for the Cardinals. Big shout out to Billy Hewlin, Rebecca, Marty Lowe. You guys are the best. Roll Tide, Roll Tide there. Last but never least, of course, it's Friday. It's Freaky Friday. It's Fade the Public Friday. Do not be the pizza man. Well, what do you mean, Jeff? Well, you got paid today. All right. Go home. Have dinner. Be with the family. Okay. Don't say, hey, I'm bringing pizza home for the family. Stop at your local water and hole, your barbershop, wherever you place action at the casino. Get caught up in the 7 o'clock games. Lose. Didn't pay the mortgage. Didn't pay the rent. Didn't pay the cable bill, the cell phones. And the next thing you know, you're in the 10 o'clock games trying to get that paycheck back. And the wife calls you at 10:45. Hey, where's the pizza? It's on the oven. Shit. So by the time you get home at 11:30 with cold pizza, the lights are off and there's a pillow and a blanket on the couch, and now you got a long, long weekend ahead of you. So don't be the pizza man, guys. Monday, me and Riley will be back around 5 o'clock, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then 1 week, last tournament before the Masters, Brady Cannon will be back here on Wednesday. A lot of shows, a lot of action. Again, anyone want to dip their toes in the ECSI VIP experience, go to EC Sports Invest on Twitter, click the Dub Club link. $1.78 a day for 1 month of action there, or go to our website and eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson the one. We wish everyone a blessed day, a better weekend, and we will see you next week.